Dear Masters, welcome back. Hello, Kalyani ji. Hello, Dikshita.
Hello.
And we will not wait for other members. We'll start the story, and as
Yes,
they
yes,
join in, they can watch the recording.
yes,
So last week we were at chapter 10, and where Soma was telling the story how everybody, Ramji, Sita, and Sita ji and Lakshman ji, they were progressing in their trip and on the path and how things were unfolding for them and what mata was it was not a trip, it was exile, but I have to make it a trip because it was that they learned so many good things. That's what we do in a trip, right? Good and bad, everything comes. And it was a journey for them, a very good journey, that they had planned their life on this journey. They had come to earth to fulfill this journey of theirs, right? So and how they were teaching the communities after the loss that they were dealing with because of Ravan, and how things were unfolding. So that's Soma was telling them. So that's the point we stopped the story. And that Soma says the love between Ramji and Sita was such a special bond that whoever was around them was feeling that bond as well. It was like circle of love that we were in part of that circle of love. And that's the love that the three mothers of Ramji had felt, and that's why they thought that it's best not to separate Sita from Ram, and she should go along. But they did not know that the Mata and Ramji had a deeper plan for this journey that they were going to be taking. And Mata had also learned about the principle of sharing from Janak Baba, as I had mentioned, how the cook was, they let go of the couple that only I have one plate left for Raja and the king and the queen, and that's why we cannot feed you. So no, but they wanted to do principle of sharing, and Mata always had kept this learning from her father within her. And so when they were on this, when they were during the path they were walking on this exile, when they were on there, there were many days when they didn't have enough food, and Mata would stay hungry and try to feed Ramji and Lakshmanji, because she thought they have to go be on the fight and fighting the Ravan's people, his generals, and other all the people they were fighting. So she felt that they needed more nutrition than her. But that was being Ramji noticed one day. And so this is a very cute incident about their love. So Ramji noticed this, that Mata is not eating much food these days, and she would say, oh, I'm not hungry, or I already ate. And we all know Indian women back then never ate without their husbands, right? So Ramji knew it. So Ramji said, from now on you're going to be sitting and eating with us. And so there came a point when both of them are like, no, you eat first, you eat first. Lakshmanji goes, you know what, both of you eat and I'm not going to eat. So at the end of this whole discussion happens is that they said, whatever food we will get, we will divide among ourselves in a equal portion. And that way nobody has to stay hungry. And Ramji could feel the love, the whatever they could feel each other's. They were completing each other's sentences. If one was sick, the others could feel the pain. That's how strong the bond between Ram and Sita was. And one day, Sita Mata got ill, and Ramji like, how I'm going to leave her alone here, and because she's so ill. And next day, Ramji had to go to a village to help these people. So Mata instructed Ramji to go get certain herbs from the jungle so she could be cured faster. And that night, Mata stayed up all night to do meditation and to do her healing. And that way, Ramji could go to the village to help the villagers. And their love was so much stronger that they were completing each other's thoughts. One would think about something, the other would have completed it. That's how their planning, their love was there. And their love was so strong that they were even they knew that Ravan's captivity time is coming, that Ravan would even take them. And Soma kept on saying to Ansuya and the mother that their love was so strong, and every couple should learn a lesson from them how to complete each other. And so Soma's mother says that I feel like coming here was a blessing in disguise, that now you will help my daughter to teach how to get rid of her fears. That was the main part. That's why they were here, so Ansuya could get rid of her fears that she should not get married or whatever. And, that way it will be better for her to get married, because, in that society nowadays, sometimes girls don't marry. That's okay. They're involved in their careers. I'm not going to go why they're not getting married in these days. But in back then, if the woman is not getting married, people would not accept her. So the parent would be like, girls are supposed to get married. That's suppose the society was running through that path. So they had to get married. So mother said, I'm feeling very blessed that I'm here, Soma. And so Soma say, and Ansuya also felt that, I have a certain bond with this woman, Soma, but she could not still figure out why that bond was there, that love was there. Every time she talked to Soma, she felt at home, she felt at peace, and she felt like, whatever the answers Soma is going to give us, I'm going to get married and, make peace with my life. And so that evening, when when Ansuya and the mother came back to the ashram to rest for the night, the Guruji, the principal of the ashram, started talking with the mother and the daughter. And they said, "So, what are you learning? What did you learn from today's session that you had with Soma?" And so they were talking about it, and then Guruji said, the principal of the ashram said, one thing that Mata always taught us, that we should always live with the laws of nature. And that was the knowledge that she wanted to share with everybody, because nature, sometimes we have to take care of the nature, because Dharti Mata, the mother earth, gives us so much, and we cannot be not fair with her, with so many chemicals and earth and so much things go on this earth. She takes our pains and aches and gives. The earth has given us so much, and sometimes as humans we feel that we are not being playing a fair part taking care of the mother earth. So that ends our chapter 10. We'll start chapter 11. So Soma's tale is chapter 11. So Ansuya that night was in a deep sleep, and she skips her breakfast and she's like, Mother, we need to go to Soma in a hurry. So she got dressed up and she went to Soma. They were there and she hears that Soma is not in the hut, and they went outside. They hear a lot of noises, and so they see that Soma is already feeding all the people, the passengers that are passing by, and feeding all these people, all the rishis and people that were passing by that path. And she used to feed, and she loves to feed, because that's what she had learned from Sita Mata. And so she says, come eat. I know you haven't eaten anything. So Soma, being such a religious woman and a high meditator, I should say, very high meditator, she knows that she has not eaten anything. And she's like, why are you feeding all this? She goes, I get love. I feel love from Mata when I feed everybody. So, and she says, when after the meal, Soma brings them inside, and Ansuya touches her feet. She goes, Mata. Soma says, don't call me Mata. That word is only designated for Sita Mata. I'm just her. Sevak, her sevika, somebody who takes care of her. I'm just here to spread her word. And then she starts telling her story. So, that was a little introduction to the chapter. So one day, Sita Mata and Ramji stopped by Rishi Atri and Ansuya's ashram. And at that point, Rishi Atri says to Ramji that you should go forward into the direction of south and be near the Dadaka forest, and where the violent creatures are causing a lot of harm into the society. And because Ravan's generals are taking control, and whoever does not want to, whichever society or the town or people fight back, they would hold off their food or their water. They would stop. They would stop their river from flowing in that direction. So people have no choice but to give in, and that's how they were controlling people. And they said that they should go on that direction. So Ansuya Mata says to Sita Mata, I have nothing to give you. You are my guest. When the guest comes to our house, what do? We feed them good food. We send them off with the gifts, right? So Ansuya Mata says, I have no gifts to give you to Sita Mata, but what I will give you is the fruit of my meditation. And so she teaches her how to meditate. And she says, this will help you on your darkest times when you really need these powers of meditation. And this power of meditation that was given to Sita Mata by Ansuya Ma really helped her while the time she was in the Ravan's exile. And this really helped her. And so Mata and Ramji started traveling towards the south. And as they were going along that path or that direction, Mata and Ramji and Lakshmanji, they were teaching people how to do cultivation because forests were getting erased by Ravan's people. Finally, Ram and Lakshman reached to Panchvati. Panchvati is the time where is a place where Mata gets kidnapped by Ravan. So and Godavari was flowing. Remember, Godavari said, "I will meet you when you reach south." So Godavari was there. The weather was really nice, very friendly. Godavari river would give nice flowers to Mata. All the herbs would be supplied by her. So the Mata and Godavari river had a very close bond. Mata would sit there near the banks of Godavari, talk to her for a long time. And whenever she was there, Mata Godavari was very happy. She would bring flowers, as I said, herbs to Mata. All Mata was very happy. Land was very rich of fruits and abundant fruits were there. But there was something missing. Even the outer beauty was there. There was something missing that Mata felt that something was missing in the environment. And finally, then they asked the people around, and they asked the rishis that they were there around, like, what is something is missing? The outer beauty is there, but something is missing. They couldn't pinpoint. And that's when one of the rishis told that the region was disturbed by generals of Ravan, and local resources were being hindered by Ravan. He would take his generals would take the local resources so the people can um, uh, just surrender towards them. And sadly, Panchvati was the center of his all the problems that he would create start from was Panchvati. So Ramji says, finally, okay, well, we are here to now take care of things. So he said in a jokingly way. But Rishi said that you cannot take him lightly. He is not as how do you say it? You're not. He's very strong now. But see, Sita Mata remembers him from the time when Ravan came and he kind of said to Raja Janak, I will marry Sita, and so now you have to fulfill that, how to put a bow and thread around that bow, and then only do that ceremony. But at that time, Raja Janak didn't feel that he was not very powerful that time. So Mata remembers Ravan through that time when he was very powerful. Mata says, can we not ward him off with the help of the mantras? So the Rishi explains, no, he's very powerful. He's done so much tapasya. He's got a lot of powers, and he even creates illusion now. He's very powerful in every way you can think of. And he can even destroy solar systems. He has gained so many powers because of his meditation. Ramji was trying to say, just get the situation under control, not to scare off anybody around. He says, we will take care of things. And but Mata also calmed these rishis down by feeding them food. See, feeding food was a healing way of Mata's way of healing people. After they left, Lakshman said, Lakshman, you have to remember, is a character who gets a little hyper at times, I would say. He says, let's go attack him. We cannot wait for him to take the first step. Ramji says, don't forget that, Lakshman, don't forget that he is a Lord Shiv's devotee. And, getting to start a fight with him would be to fight with Lord Shiva. So we have to wait. We have to see what he does to us. We cannot take the first step. So Ramji said, there are certain, he says, but these rishis are complaining already. You cannot, we can go by that, we got complaints and that's why we are attacking. So Ramji also explained to Lakshman, look, he is very smart in this way. He's covering his tracks. You cannot just go fight with him. And you don't forget that he's a very powerful man. He has a lot of powers and those chemical wars that could have happened. So we have to see what kind of war stuff he has that he can fight. So we have to get all that information before we cannot attack him like that. And those weapons can release harmful energies in the nature, in the earth, and it can disturb all this. So Mata is listening to the conversation of Ram and Lakshman, and she is feeling those vibes in her, and she's literally shaking because we have to remember that Sita Mata is the Dharti Ma, is the part of the earth, right? So she can feel that pain, that if these weapons are released in nature, in this earth, how powerful effect it will have happened to on the earth. We all still see the earth, effects of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was years and years and years ago. We are still feeling the what COVID has done to Earth. All these whenever these wars happen, somehow we still feel the effects after ages. So so Mata is like trying to feel all these energies are being absorbed by Mata, and Mata is literally shaking. And so Lakshman was calmed by Ramji that we cannot do this, so we have to calm down. Ramji also explained to Lakshman that Ravan needs to know that there's always a law of cause and effect. So anything that he's going to do to damage the earth, eventually it will come back to him. So we'll have to wait to that moment. Next day, Ramji, Mata, and Lakshman went to meet Rishi Agastya and Rishi Lopamudra. And so Rishi Lopamudra, this is another woman philosopher and a saint that we talk about. Rishi Lopamudra is a great philosopher, and she's a writer of hymns, as well as she has a very extraordinary spiritual powers. And she also is a kind of a guru to Asuras demon class, right? She always thought, Lopamudra always thought that everybody has a way in society to live. The gods, the demons, they all have this place to live. And then she says that, they all have to stay away from each other, and they have to use their powers in a right way, in the right direction. So she was like, everybody has a right to live. And so she explains to all three of them, Ram, Sita, and Lakshman, that Ravan is, master of illusions, and he knows all these arts. And the sad part is that he is not using his powers in a good direction. He is using them because he has a hoarding, and he has all this negative energies in him. So he's not using his powers in a right direction. In fact, he's using them in a wrong direction. So she says that I will give you another. So Rishi Lopamudra teaches Sita Mata and Ramji that I will give you a blessing. So in a form of a blessing, she teaches them art of illusion. And she says, I will hide it in your heads, in your brains, right? And use it only when you really, really need it. And you have to be very careful. Ravan is capable of taking it out from your heads too. So I will hide it in your deepest thought. That way, you can only retrieve it when you need it. So Rishi Lopamudra gives them that mantra as a form of a blessing. And she says you have to learn this mantra in a right pronunciation, because if you do it in a wrong way, it can have a disastrous effects. And she says you have to be very careful. The Ravan's spies are everywhere. So they come back from their visit, and this is the last year of their exile. They were gone for 14 years, right? So this is the last year. And back then, astrology was also, even now people believe in astrology a lot, but back then, everything that they would do, they would not take a step without taking advice from these priests, right? So when they were leaving, even all the rishis, when they left Ayodhya, they said last year of their exile will be very hard. So Ramji remembered that what that priest had told them, and Ramji tells Sita, I know you love the forest. I know you like to go by yourself, but I was request to make that please don't go without me or Lakshman ever in the jungle again, because this is our last year. We want to play safe, that nothing happens to you. So Ramji, as I said, remembered the warning, and he said that. So usually Mata would not listen to this, but this time I agreed to see Ramji, and she would, go with them if she's going to collect the herbs or going to get water or anything. So she would stay by, not go far wandering as it. So she promised that she will not go too far without them being with them. So Soma says on the other end, like they were in Ayodhya, right? So Soma says, when we were in Ayodhya, I could feel that, something negative was going to happen, but what, we don't know. And one day when Soma went to Saryu Nadi, she saw that these women were doing meditation. They were praying to Saryu Nadi, and they were creating these high energies, and they were praying for the protection of Sita Mata. And she wondered that this woman, Sita Mata, has how much energy this princess that came to their Ayodhya, they barely know her, but that love and the bond that Mata created in her people for a very short visit, people are praying for her protection. because and this circle of love that Mata had created, this energies were really helpful, and that's the reason Ravan could not go near Sita. Sita Mata says the circle of love, the energies that were created in Ayodhya, those positive energies were really important for her survival in Ayodhya. So, Soma says that she was surprised for the love that got created for her in that short while. On this end, Ravan's general were all around everywhere hurt. They were hurting people. And Mata could also feel the disturbance in the nature. The river was going in the opposite direction. The birds were flying and they did not know where they were going. And the weather was changing drastically. Even if it's not a rain season, if the raining was happening, there was no windy season, the winds were coming. So the weather was also changing drastically. And before, when Mata used to go take bath in the river, the fishes would come nearby, let her touch and play with her. But now the fishes were even scared. And so she asked what was happening. She asked Godavari Nadi what was happening. So she says, Godavari Nadi says, Mata, everybody is scared of Ravan. And there is a woman around, and this woman that we call is Sarupnaka, Ravan's sister. So she is all around and she is creating a lot of disturbance in this area. So throughout their journey, Mata, Ramji, and Sita, they had come up with a plan that all night Lakshman would be like a guarding the place, and in the morning hours, Ramji and Sita would wake up and they would take care of more like guarding, and Mata would take care of the kitchen and stuff, and Lakshman would go take a nap. So during this time, Mata realized that Lakshman is not getting enough rest, and that was showing off on his body. And just on a side note, I read it somewhere that Lakshman's wife was doing meditation, all this time while Lakshman was there, and the energies that the wife was creating was given to the husband, and that was giving the power to Lakshman to not to sleep. So that's how Lakshman didn't need the feel to sleep, because of all the meditation vibes that was coming from his wife. So one day Mata feels that Lakshman is low on energy, so that day she goes to the jungle to get some herbs for Lakshman. So while she was trying to cross the river, she felt that the river was going on a very deep, water was flowing in a very wrong direction, and there was no way she could walk on that. Level was too high for the water for her to walk. And so Godavari Nadi indicated a direction that you can go on this side, Mata. So the water is little shallow, so you can cross the river. So while Mata was collecting all the herbs, she heard a woman shrieking. She's like, that is not normal. Usually she'll hear some monkeys flying or some animals flying or some birds chirping, but this was the cry of a woman. And so she follows that cry, and she saw this woman. She was crying in the middle of the jungle in front of a statue of Parvati Ma. Parvati is Shivji's wife, right? So she was a young woman who felt like she was crying for a long time. And Mata went behind her and she says, "Don't be scared of me. Who are you? And do you need some help?" And it felt like that woman felt like that she was tired of life. The little hut that she was living in needed a big time repair, and she had lost hope from her life. And and then the sad part was Mata felt was, she asked, that woman asked Mata, "Who are you?" Mata was surprised, like, who does not know me? No one, nobody had doubted my identity before. She explained that her husband and her brother-in-law are here, and then she can take care of her. Mata can help her. And Mata told her to look into her eyes, and that's when that woman realized that Mata is Sita. And so she started telling her story. So she says, my name is my name is Chandrika, and my husband was a very smart scholar. And what happened was that the teacher of my husband felt that my husband is such a smart man, so he should open his own ashram. So we had some students and we were living very happily. So one day this woman comes along and she says, my father and I have traveled from very far along, and I'm here to help you out to teach the students. So this woman had a very different odor to her body, and and somehow she felt, Chandrika felt that all men were being lured by this woman. And when she tried to tell her husband that, the husband didn't agree to it. And she's like, you be quiet, Chandrika. And then one day when she woke up, her husband was not there. And and everybody found out that apparently her husband had left with Sarupnaka. So Sarupnaka had changed her name, turned herself into a pretty woman. This is how she would, Sarupnaka would lure men out of their family. So basically, Chandrika was an abandoned woman. So nobody, obviously, the students had left, because if their teacher is like that, who would want to send their kids to that kind of a school, right? So, and so Chandrika had nowhere to go. So Chandrika even tried to commit suicide. And Parvati Ma guided her not to commit suicide and then to live with dignity. So she asked Sita Mata, like, what would you do in this situation if your husband would do this to you? Mata was like, I can't imagine Ram doing this to me, something like that. So she says that I cannot imagine any condition that would lessen my love for my husband, but I also would not tolerate any condition that would cause me to lose my dignity. This is a very important sentence. So I have highlighted so I can read it. So, love is one thing, but don't do anything that would lose your own dignity. And she says, I have learned this from my father. So you cannot lose your dignity. It's not your fault that your husband abandoned you. It's his fault. Why are you trying to commit suicide? So Mata calmed her down. Again, the healing happens through the help of that medicine, the herbs that she had collected for Lakshman. She used those herbs to heal Chandrika. She taught Chandrika how to how to do meditation that she had learned from Ansuyama. So Mata told her that she will come visit her again. So Mata leaves her there, and that night when Ramji comes from, he had gone to another place to help villages. So when they meet at the dinner, Ramji was very quiet and Ramji wasn't saying much. And so they had a quiet dinner. And then while they were after the dinner, Ramji is narrating his part of the day. So when he was in the village he saw a body floating in the river. And nobody would want to help Ramji to take the body out of the river, because they said it was some person who had abandoned his family and he was lured by the woman. Apparently, that was Chandrika's husband. And so when Mata found out, Mata told her part of the story, and they figured two and two put together to the puzzle. They found out that was Chandrika's husband. So finally, two of the students, they helped Ramji to do the last rite of Chandrika's husband. So Mata says that Mata felt very sad that, how would she tell Chandrika that her husband is no more? So Mata says that, Mata was like, okay, that night she sat down on meditation, and she wanted to tell Chandrika that her husband is no more. So she took her body in a meditation form, but when she went there, apparently she found out that Chandrika is not able to recognize her, because Mata is not in her body form, in her spirit form, right? So Chandrika is not able to find her. But then she sees there that two of her students husband students had come and informed Chandrika that, your husband has died basically. And because Sarup Naka had killed him. And Mata, she was crying in front of Parvati Ma's statue. And so Parvati Ma guided her that listen to what Sita Mata is trying to tell you, even though she is in a spirit body, try to listen to her. And so when Chandrika cries in front of Sita Mata, the spirit, right? And so Mata says, don't worry, things will happen, and he will get, whoever did this to your husband will finally get, will learn the lesson of their life as well. So Mata comes back in her body after talking to Chandrika that night, and Mata says, I don't know why I said that, so then we all know that Sarup Naka's nose gets chopped by Lakshman, right? So Mata was like, why this word came out of my mouth? But, we all know that always some things when they come out of our mouth, that's why we say we have to really be careful what we are talking about, right? So Mata came that, Mata says, do not hold back, things will unfold to yourself. And then after a few days, Mata was running low on water, and Mata went back to fill the water in the Godavari Nadi. And all of a sudden, Godavari says, Mata, be careful, danger is near. So Godavari guided Mata that danger is near and that she should be very careful. And so Mata remembered what had happened to Chandrika. So now Mata comes back, And she says, Mata comes back to the house, and she says, Mata starts cooking that night, right? And when Mata starts cooking, and the was cooking, and she smelled like very nice flowers. So she thought that the flowers were brought to her by Ramji, brought her flowers. But she says, no, these maybe the Godavari Nadi got me flowers. So she's like, where is this flower smell coming from? Then she realized this is a smell that Chandrika had mentioned, that the woman that had been coming around has a smell to her, the odor that there is there. So she has to be very careful. And so she knew that the tension was around, Sarupnakha was around. And that day she felt that she needed to give, she also felt that Lakshman was really tired that day. So she made like a broth kind of with the medicine herbs. She made the broth, and we call it kada. Kada is like a herbal medicine, a herbal tea. So Lakshman could ease off the pain of or the tiredness that he could get. So that night, Mata could feel that the surrounding the tension was clear. So that night, Mata sat again for all night for meditation. So that ends my chapter 11, and it's time. Thank you for listening to me. Next week, we will see how the story unfolds. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, and thank you again for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Surbhi ma'am. It was a wonderful thing. The way you're explaining this again and again, I'm telling the same thing. It's like just like watching a movie. It was an amazing thing. Yeah, I'm very much excited what Surpana will be doing in next session. How she's going to.
So Sarupnakha ends up cursing Lakshman.
Yes.
And that's why Lakshman, gets hurt in the war,
yes,
and during
yes.
the war.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
I'm like
Yes.
excited in your version to hear from your version.
Thank you.
I'm very much excited for next week. Yeah. Friends, if you have any questions or any doubts, like if you want to share anything, please do. Stage is all yours. Or if you can share any of your experience on this, anything is okay.
Thank you, Jasleen ji.
Actually, I want to talk. I have a question.
Please.
So you mentioned, that Ravan had a lot of powers, right?
Yes.
So how did and Sita Mata knew a lot of meditation. So how did she keep those away from him, or why was he not able to tap into it?
So when you will see when we go further in the story, that Sita, Ravan first tried to attack Mata mentally. So what he does is he takes Mata into a situation where Mata feels that she is Ramji is getting married to somebody else, and he's chopping his own kids away. He takes Mata to the situations where Mata feels like she's walking through dead bodies. So all this, and Mata feels very drained out. That actually happens because Mata had drank some water. When basically it's like tinted water, because water has very high energy. I asked Dikshita ma'am to share the video on the water. Water has very high energies, right?
Right.
Even when we do prayers, even the regular prayers that you do in the morning, when I say regular, means like routine prayer ceremonies that you do every morning, take a glass of water with you. When you pray, those positive energies go in your water. You can put that water in your main kitchen jug where the whole family is drinking. So when Mata gets into that Panchvati, Trijata brings her food and water. So Mata is very tired and she drinks that water. Because she drinks that water, her brain gets tinted also. And Mata gets into that, and Ravan sees that as an opportunity, and he attacks her mentally. So she feels that she is walking through the dead bodies. The woman that was tortured by Ravan, she sees that body is going. That chapter, I will ask you to do meditation before you go to bed, because that's a very high negative energy chapter that it is. And so Parvati Mata appears to Sita Mata, and she says, I will give you like Amrit, and that way the time period Mata was there, she didn't have to eat or drink anything at Ravan's place because that energy, source of energy was there. And so Mata takes that source of energy, and as soon as Ravan dies, that source of energy stops. And that whole negative energy that came, Mata was absorbing in her from all the negativity, that turns into that fire. And when Ramayana Sagar says that was the fire that Mata had to prove that she was pure, that was not the fire. It was the fire of that Mata was burning all the negative energy from that around the area in through her, through her. And so when Lakshman tries to save her, thinking, oh, Mata is burning, Ramji says, no, she's not burning. She's burning the negative energy. And that whole energy is all power of energy. The water has very good energy. You can pray on the water. So even if you feel that you are going to any place, any relative's house, that you feel that the water is being tinted, or you feel that person has a negative energy, take the water, sprinkle few drops on the floor and say, Dharti Mata, I'm giving this water to you. Because Mata will take all the negative energy. That's why we pray all the energy. Sometimes when you go to someone's house, you can feel that energy is not right. Especially with them being a meditator, you can feel it. And I know this woman in India, even if she comes to my mom's house, she will take one piece of roti out and she'll say, this is to the birds. The first, so basically, if that person has cooked the food with any negative energy, it's not only my house, anywhere she goes, even if she goes to the temple, you don't know how the cook, the person who is cooking the food, what kind of energy they're bringing. Maybe they had a fight with their spouse at home, right? So the first bite they would give it, that woman gives it to the birds. That birds, and they're such pure souls. Dharti Mata, Vasundarama, she will take her negative energy. So its energies are so Mata does not take anything. And so Mata gets powers also from, then Mata tries to clean his head too, Ravan. So Mata attacks him too, in a good way, try to purify him, try to clean him, his brain. So Mata's work in this whole book, you will see, while the time Mata was there, Mata's job is to work from inside, and Ramji comes around. They try to play nicely with him in the sense that, okay, you know what, this is what you're doing is not right. Even Mata also talks to Mandodari. Mandodari was new. Mandodari was also kidnapped by Ravan.
Right.
And we will hear how did she ended up loving him. There's also a story about her previous birth, what she had asked for in the previous birth. And that's how she ended up loving Ravan. Even though she knew, Mata also told her, if you don't know how to bring your husband to the right path, call your daughter, she will help you. Or you go to your daughter's house. So she was like, so your sons don't have to be the part of this whole episode of being killed by Ram. So Mata's job was from inside, trying to save everybody as much as she could, to save the earth, to save the Ravan and his people from the disaster that this war was going to bring. So Mata tried her best, and Trijata, I was listening to the next book, Rukmani's book. Trijata was born as Krishna's sister, because Trijata wanted to be part of that. So even Dina ma'am's visit that I did with her, she said whatever they could not, and I repeat this again and again, whatever they could not finish Ram and Sita in a form of Ram and Sita, they finished those, help those souls as a form of Krishna and Rukmani. And there is an episode that Mata helped this young lady, and you will hear it as a mother, you would feel that, how this woman went through the pain of what she went through, and Mata, how she hid her. She became a big devotee of Mata, that she wanted to be with Mata. And then next birth, she also is in Rukmani's chapter. In that book, that woman is there. She becomes a card reader in that book. So yeah, I have read this book so many times that I feel like I get those energies. I feel the pain of the characters. I feel the happiness of the characters. I've read this book 10 times already. And this is my 4th or the 5th platform that I'm reading this book.
Yeah, but
I love this book so much.
Yes, but it's beautifully done, because the way you presenting it is the story that we've not heard from that angle.
Yes, I agree. Because and even when Dina ma'am said that we still hear a lot about Sita, we know who Sita was, but during the time of Rukmani, nobody knows much about Rukmani. And what I'm listening on and this book, Rukmani's book, was given to me as a gift by Dina ma'am. And what I am reading in that book was Sita was playing by the rules, right? Rukmani didn't want her to play with the rules. She was going outgoing, and so society was not able to accept her. Lot of places that you will read in that book, society didn't like that idea that woman is going out of the palace and doing things that she made the camps while Mahabharat happened. So that's why people don't want to accept her, because eventually this is man dominating society. That's why we don't hear about Rishi Lopamudra, Rishi Ansuya. We only want to hear what men did. We don't know what women did. And that's
Right.
how we need to bring that, how powerful women were then, how powerful we are now. And that's why, I'm not saying men are wrong or women are wrong. They should have an equal part in the society. And they should be treated as two wheels of any journey. Not like, they're not bashing. We should have a say in them. That's how the men is. That's why Sita said, you don't lose your dignity. Yes, love for your husband, love for your family is one thing, but not at the stake of your dignity. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you. It did help. Thank you.
It was nice talking to you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, I cut into your meditation time, Dikshita ma'am.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Actually, this is the main session we have. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much, Surbhi ma'am, for the wonderful session today.
Thank you, Kalyani ji. Thank you, Jhansi ji. You guys, anybody else, if they don't have any questions, I can log off. Feel free to text to Dikshita ma'am too. She can forward me all the questions or anything if you guys come up with
I can do
later.
that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your meditation. I will see you guys next week. Thank you again for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Dikshita ma'am.
Masters, please sit comfortably. We will just do 15 minutes of meditation and then we'll wind it up. Thank you so much. Please sit comfortably, close your eyes, clasp your fingers, cross your legs. Just observe your natural breath. Masters. Please bring back your consciousness slowly. On the count of 5, place your fingers on your eyes and slowly open your eyes on the count of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you so much, Masters, for doing an awesome meditation today and for the session today. We'll meet next week, next Wednesday, in the same timing, 9 to 10 p.m. Thank you, everyone.